Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the National Hockey Now Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now, Saturday, April the 1st. April Fool's Day. I don't pay attention to that, but it is what it is, April Fool's Day. It's Saturday, April the 1st, more importantly, and it's a huge Saturday of NHL action. Ian Cameron, Kevin Beach, our Saturday contributor with us, Alex B. Smith, joining us later on in the show at some point. He's having some snow. There's a snowstorm rolling through Minnesota, so the internet's spotty for him today, but he'll try to join us later on in the show. We got a huge card. Kevin, you're going to the Preds game, so you're only on with us for the first about 45 minutes here of the show. You're going to Blues Predators. Like I was saying to you before the show, I just wish they were playing a better fucking team. It's not the most glamorous game in the world, but it is a big game for the home team.
Yeah, they're still in this playoff race here, and like you said, not the top end talent in the league here, but anytime you can watch UC Saros play a game, that always makes it worth it for me.
Exactly. As a goaltender by trade, you love seeing, the goaltenders perform, do their thing, especially top tier goaltenders. And when UC Saros is on his game, he can be a top tier goaltender. And he's had, I think, a very good season over. I think the reason they're flirting with a playoff spot is largely because of him. There was that stretch, I believe, December, January, where he was stealing a lot of games against Toronto and Carolina and some really good teams. And they won those games because of UC Saros. So it's a great segue because that's the first game up. Starts in an hour from now. Blues and Predators to get the Saturday card rolling. We've got Nashville minus 145 home favorites, 6 the total. I'm really going to pass it to you, Kevin, because I really didn't do much with this game. I mean, I don't want to go against Nashville in a spot where they need the points, but I'm not ever going to be comfortable laying minus 145 with them either. You look at this matchup, and St. Louis, to their credit, even with the trades that happened and jettisoning so many of their best players away, O'Reilly's, Tarasenko, gone down the list. They've been largely competitive of late. However, there are a couple of pieces that may not be in action here for this game. Pavel Buchnevich and Robert Thomas, both of them dealing with injury, both of them game time decisions here for this early start affair. And even though this game's only an hour from puck drop, we really don't know much. We don't have injury updates on either side. We know that Parsonen, Roman Josi have been day-to-day for the Predators. Obviously, Duchesne, Johansson, and Forsberg are long-term injuries. We probably won't see them for the rest of the regular season. We don't have goalie confirmations either. So all we have is projections right now that it's Binnington and Saros, but nothing has been confirmed as of yet. So it's not really going to be anything I bet here, side or total, or even like point prop. I could throw out Kapanen for St. Louis just because he's been firing offensively. Maybe Thomas Novak for Nashville, but this is not a game I'm going to do much with here in the early going. Draw when in doubt is what I would say. What do you think here, Kevin? Blues, Predators?
Yeah, I kind of mentioned to you before we jumped on, it feels like kind of like it's the St. Louis Blues versus UC Saros. That Nashville lineup is just so depleted. I mean, a lot of the big guns for St. Louis have been traded away, but they still have a couple guys in there. So I was kind of looking at the St. Louis offense, but with these injuries, these guys, their game time decision, that's going to hold me back a little bit on that. I do like Justin Falk though, anytime point. That's it's minus 115 to play it. He has 9 points in his last 4 games. So I mean, they still have a pretty strong blue line, guys that can kind of move the puck, carry the play offensively on the back end. So I like, yeah, and the team's been playing pretty well offensively. So I like Justin Falk anytime point, and that's minus 115. That's my only prop and only play on this game that I have in here.
All right. Yeah, it feels like a light volume game. Exactly. It's the first game of the day. You don't need to pepper it with a ton of bets. It's a huge card. Pick your spot, especially now that we're down to the last 2 weeks. We're inside 2 weeks now left in the regular season. So great stuff. And I hope you're ready next Saturday, Kevin, because you're on next Saturday, of course, April 8th. Every team's in action next Saturday. We're going to have 16 fucking games on the card next Saturday. Ooh. 16 games. So yeah, it'll be a heavy workload for all of us for that Saturday. But it's the last big card of the whole season. That's on a Saturday. That's the good news. And we'll have Obviously, when playoffs start, we'll be talking less games on the Saturday slates. And Cody Glass, too, is not a bad option as well. Someone mentioning that in the chat. I do want to mention before we get to Boston-Pittsburgh, which is the ABC national TV game this afternoon, I want to highlight one of the comments from Matthew Bingham in our chat. It's draw season. Damn right it is. We always say that, Alex and I. They're hitting at just under a 24% rate the past 3 weeks. And again, you're right. That's about an average drop price is plus 325, is at least plus 300. So, you're definitely profitable. If you're betting the draws here the last 3 weeks, at almost a quarter of the games in the league have gone up to overtime or a shootout. That's very impressive numbers right there. So good stuff indeed. And that's why we're going to keep looking for draw bets when it makes sense. Boston and Pittsburgh, Bruins minus 125, road favorite, 6.5 the total. Okay, I am on Pittsburgh here. It's just your straightforward fade the team after clinching the President's Trophy angle. It's something I do every year in the NHL. We bet against the team that just clinched everything, and I don't know if Boston's going to rest players. And I am concerned with what our guy, who does a great job covering the Bruins, Jimmy Murphy, said on yesterday's show when he joined us, that Boston's talking and Jim Montgomery's talking like they have a point to prove here. They could be playing this team in the first round, the Pittsburgh Penguins, that they want to send a message that, hey, we're the team to beat, and you guys don't have a shot. You come first round if you're playing us. So, yeah, is there that incentive and that motivation here for the Bruins in this game? That ends up being the question. I'm keeping it small. It's like because of that, because this team maybe is a little bit more interested in this game than you would think. But fact remains, they might be saying and talking all they want about how, they're going to come to play here today, but you've just clinched everything. It's been a long season. Everybody's got bumps and bruises. I know for a fact there's multiple Bruins playing through less than 100%. You can't tell me that Marchand and especially Bergeron are 100%, especially with the pounding Bergeron is taken right now. So keep an eye as we approach puck drop, which is still, over about 3 hours away. This is a 3 p.m. Eastern start. Keep an eye on that Boston starting lineup, because it wouldn't shock me to see a couple guys rested, but we don't know that yet. We won't know that until Jim Montgomery speaks to the media, which won't be until about an hour and a half from now. But yeah, I am on Pittsburgh here, and I got plus 115. It's down to plus 105. I still endorse it at this price, but I'm going to keep it in check in terms of how much I put on this, because I am aware Boston, what they are capable of. But if you even look the last couple of games, Kevin, even leading into clinching the President's Trophy the other night against Columbus, they lost to Nashville at home, which isn't a great performance. And then they barely squeaked by Columbus with that horrendous defense of Michael Hutchinson. And they needed overtime to beat them. So, and obviously Pittsburgh, look, they've had their issues defensively, but what I like about their win against Nashville the other night is that their defense played better. It was the best game I've seen out of Tristan Jarry in a very long time. So positive signs for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So given the situation, it's fade the President's Trophy winner the game after they clinch. I've done it for years. I'm on Pittsburgh here. Kevin, what do you think?
Yeah, I like your angle going with Pittsburgh. For me, I just don't think the price is worth it. Like going against the top team in the league. So for me, that's not
fair.
my play. Yeah, I agree that Boston's not really putting the puck in the net right now. However, what they are doing is not letting the other team score. So whoever they're playing right now, they're not scoring goals. They're still clamping down. They're still the best defensive team in the league right now. So I like that under 6.5. I see like Pittsburgh, they're not going to want to play a run and gun game here. They need the points badly too. And just the way Boston has been clamping down, and then they're quite comfortable in these 2-1, 3-2 games. It seems like they're almost in that playoff mode where they're getting ready to win these tight games for playoffs. So for me, I just like that under 6.5 game total.
All right, there you go. Liking the under here with the Bruins and the Penguins. There is a game. There was, by the way, about St. Louis, Nashville. I do lean over in that game simply because that's the way St. Louis is playing right now. They're really, really trending over the total. They're scoring, but they're also giving up a lot of goals. And if you actually look at St. Louis versus Nashville, it's been a crazy over series. 6 of the last 7, by the way, have gone over. So if I was to do anything in that game, I'd sprinkle with the draw, sprinkle with the over, and maybe just, a couple bucks for, the first game of the day, a little entertainment money, a little entertainment bet. That's it. It's going to be nothing more of significance for me. But this one is Pittsburgh plus 105. I like it here. And I agree with the under, actually, in that game. I think it's definitely going to be a lower scoring game, especially with Pittsburgh finally finding some defensive confidence and goaltending confidence for Jarry again the last game. So I don't mind the lower scoring look at all in that Bruins-Penguins game. All right, rest of the games are tonight. We'll go to the Islanders and the Lightning. We've got Tampa Bay minus 150, minus 155 home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. Tampa Bay back-to-back wins, solid victories in their last 2 games for the Lightning, I guess showing signs of turning things around at least a little bit after the struggles. Really, it started with the Boston game. I thought they played well against the Bruins, even in the 2-1 loss, despite not getting the win. And then they followed it up with a very solid shutout against Carolina, and then a 5-1 pretty thorough victory against Washington. But again, the Capitals have definitely had their struggles. We do want to keep that in mind. It'll be interesting to see how they fare here, can keep it rolling. Vasilevsky is likely in net for the Islanders. Should be Sorokin for the Islanders, but hasn't been confirmed just yet. So again, though, the Tampa Bay Lightning are in one of these situations where, though, there's not a lot at stake. They're probably locked into third in the Atlantic. They won't have home ice in that first round series against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I still question, whether this team is going to have that, game to game focus, game to game intensity, game to game solid execution. We've got the Islanders that have won 5 of their last 7 games. They played well. They beat the Capitals in a shootout 2-1 in their last game, and following a very impressive 5-1 win over the Devils as well. So 2 very impressive back-to-back wins. Tampa's dominated the Islanders head-to-head recently. You go back to, obviously, the regular season of 2021-22, 4 straight wins for Tampa Bay in the head-to-head series, including a 5-3 win over the Islanders back in October. But I think the Islanders are competitive here. I do. I like the Islanders. I like my classic late-season underdog draw split here. Islanders plus 130 in the draw here as well. In this game with the Islanders and the Lightning. I do think there's a little value in this price. I only had Tampa Bay around the minus 135 or so in this game, factoring in the situation that the points are just more valuable right now for the Islanders because they're still trying to cement their playoff status, holding on to that number 1 wild card position at 87 points. I think they're competitive in this game. Sorokin's in excellent form right now. They've got every chance to be competitive and maybe even win this game, in my opinion, tonight here in Tampa. So I'm going to go with plus 135 money line Islanders and a split with the draw, which is upwards of plus 370 at FanDuel. What do you think here, Kevin? Islanders, Lightning.
Yeah, the thought is have the Lightning, kind of woken up here? Have they finally found it here these last couple of games? We've been waiting for it for weeks and weeks. The sleeping giant, when are they going to wake up? For me, I got to think. Because I think come playoff team that they're not going to be what they've been the last couple months. And I like.
And I think the Islanders always get revved up for the Lightning too, based on the playoff history, the playoff problems they had with Tampa Bay back-to-back years. I think every time the Lightning are on the schedule, the Islanders want to beat them, really want to beat them because they've had a bad playoff history against them.
Yeah, so I like this to be low scoring though. You got Sorokin for the Islanders there. Vasilevsky finally looks to be like himself the last couple of games. So for me, I was kind of looking at the Islanders team goals under 3. Just the way the Lightning have kind of showed up here. I don't love that price though. It's minus 186 to play it. The one that I was liking, because I could see either team getting shut down here, is both teams to score 2 goals. The option no, that's plus 138. In the last 5 games for both teams, 3 games each, they've been in games where both teams aren't scoring both goals. So they've both been in these games where it's kind of one-sided or low scoring in general. So I do like that. Either, and I'm leaning towards it's the Lightning that are shutting down the Islanders here, but with Sorokin, you never know. He's a possibility there to kind of shut down the Lightning as well and keep this low scoring. However, my favorite one in this game here is going to be Bo Horvat, no point. That's plus 108. He only has 3 points in his last 10 games, and as an Islander, 11 points in his last 24. So even though he's still playing that top line, it's not working for him. And for plus money there, on a trend, he's it's more than a small sample size here that he's not putting up points with his line mates here. And until something changes, like Barzell comes back in the lineup and and shakes things up. I feel real good about playing no point on Bo Horvat there.
He's getting outplayed by his counterpart in that trade with the Vancouver Canucks, Anthony Beauvillier. Anthony
Yeah.
Beauvillier is making way more of an impact for the Canucks right now offensively than Horvat has with the Islanders. It's funny because he was just on this ridiculous first half tear with Vancouver. He gets to the Islanders and he's cooled off significantly, whereas Beauvillier couldn't put a puck in the ocean with the Islanders, and now all of a sudden he's ripping it up, goals and points left and right for the Vancouver Canucks, and a brilliant 2-on-1 goal by him last night against Calgary.
Yeah, Horvat went from having a career year to having probably one of his worst stretches hockey he's had. So quite the swing here. Until Barzal gets back out there and playing with him, I just don't like the chemistry he has right now. And you're giving me plus money on something where nightly he's going out and not putting up points. I'm not afraid of his big name. Like, it's not working right now, so I'm going to jump on that.
Yeah, I agree with that. No question. I think it's definitely worth a look. By the way, I wanted to throw out a couple shots on goal props for the early games. Vrana props for St. Louis. Yes, I don't mind that. And the overshots for him. Kyrou overshots. The Boston game, DeBrusque overshots. Pasternak is on automatic right now. He keeps on going. It's every game. It's going 5+ shots on goal for David Pasternak lately for the Bruins. Jason Zucker overshots. Got to go in that direction for the Penguins, and goal prop and point prop again for Jason Zucker today as well. So I just realized I forgot to mention any props for those early games, but those are all on the radar for me for those earlier games that we talked about here on the board. I think they're all good prop looks in those games. What else did I leave? Oh, Letang as well. Letang's actually, his shot volume has really increased lately from the back end for the Penguins as well. So the overshots on goal for him, I think, definitely makes some sense. So those are some props in the early games. The Islanders, Engvall to score, Fasching, these are all undervalued players, and they've all moved up the lineup for the Islander. Parise even has been good. So there's the props I would look at there. All right, Buffalo, Philadelphia, even money.
I got one more.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Yep.
Ian, I got one more on the Lightning game. I got Kucherov under 3.5. That's minus 121. 8 of his last 10, he's been under 3.5. I think that line's too high for him, especially playing an Islanders like defensive team. So trending right now, he's under. I'm going to play that under 3.5 on Kucherov as well.
All right, Sabres and Flyers. We've got even money, minus 110, both sides, 6.5 the total in this game. Very happy to cash the best bet last night with the Buffalo Sabres. Got a little interesting. I didn't like that the Rangers tied it. I was getting a little concerned at that time. I got to admit, wasn't feeling overly comfortable or optimistic, but the Sabres found a way in overtime. Jeff Skinner getting the overtime winner. And what a great call by Dan Dunleavy, voice of the Sabres. Skinner, overtime winner. Absolutely great. That was like a winner chicken dinner kind of thing there with that call. Great call by Danny D there. And by the way, he's starting to make Sabres fans at least not pine for Rick Jeanneret nearly as much. Rick's the GOAT. Rick Jeanneret will forever be the greatest Sabres voice of all time. But Dan Dunleavy's done a hell of a job in a tough spot. Filling those shoes is almost impossible. And he is getting better and better. And I love the little sayings he's been throwing in there this season. He's tough shoes to fill. He's doing a nice job on the play-by-play. Dan Dunleavy for the Sabres. Great win for the Sabres last night. A win in the debut of Devin Levi in net for the Sabres. He was magnificent. I don't want to sugarcoat it. The kid was great. Poised, unflappable, moved well in the crease, square to the shooter, saw the puck well, made a couple of 10-bell saves in the mix. And when that game was 2-2 and the Rangers were really pressing in the third period, he was just on top of things, settled the game down. Rangers would be buzzing. He'd smother the puck, no rebounds, take the face off, take the temperature of the game down a bit. Really, really smart IQ for a goalie at his age. It's so young, Kevin. Before we get into the game further, did you get to see it? And I'm fascinated as a goalie yourself. Your thoughts on the debut of Devin Levi? I mean, we can't all of a sudden say he's the next one and he's going to be the future number one. It's one game. We can't go get carried away, but it's certainly an optimistic first impression.
Yeah, no, I was dialed into my TV for that one. That's what I wanted to see. He's a guy I was looking at for my fantasy leagues, my keeper fantasy leagues, to kind of grab him. So I wanted to get a good look at him. I mean, obviously that first period, Buffalo really, I think, had their best defensive period of the year. they really stepped up, kind of knowing the situation, having him in for his first game. But then, you know, eventually, like he had to show up against the Rangers. Like the Rangers started to come on, and yeah, he was really strong. So I'm excited to see him. Hopefully, they roll him out a little more here. Definitely don't expect him to be in again on the back to back here, but I definitely hope to see more of him here.
Oh, yeah, you will. I don't think you'll see him tonight, though. I think just because of the emotion of last night, his family was in the building and, went to overtime. He, had to extend himself a bit. I don't think we'll see him. We'll see either Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen or Eric Comrie, most likely in net tonight for the Buffalo Sabres. It's just a question of which one. Felix Sandstrom will be in net once again for the Philadelphia Flyers. That is confirmed for the Flyers because of the fact that Carter Hart remains out for the Philadelphia Flyers due to a lower body injury. So it will be Felix Sandstrom in net once again for the Flyers. Really, I give Sandstrom credit. He faced 46 shots, and I know he gave up 5 goals and they lost to the Senators, but he was getting peppered. I mean, Ottawa was in the Philadelphia zone the entire game that night. A couple nights ago. It was a very physical, a lot of fights and a lot of animosity as well in that Senators and Flyers game. It was a fun game to watch. But he played pretty well, even though he gave up 5 goals, simply because he faced such a heavy shot volume, and he had to make some good saves. A lot of breakaways, too. I like a lot of breakaways, odd man rushes. So it was a taxing night for Felix Sandstrom. I worry about that a little bit. When you face that kind of workload, that many grade A chances, it's not easy to bounce back the very next game. I mean, I'm targeting the over here in this game if it's not Levi, and I'm pretty sure it won't be. Because I don't really trust either Comrie or Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen has kind of gone backward here in his recent starts. And Sabres, I think, can score, and I think Philly can score. And we've seen the Flyers actually offensively look pretty good here in recent games in terms of putting the puck in the net. 4 goals against Ottawa the other night, and they only did that on less than 20 shots. So, they're definitely showing an ability to put the puck in the net, led by Joel Farabee, who I think continues to be undervalued in the prop market. Philly's now gone over the total, by the way, 6-2 in their last 8 games to the over. They have scored 3, 5, 4, 6, 5, 3, 3, 4. So they've been 3+ goals now in 9 straight games, the Philadelphia Flyers. So I think over 6.5 is the play here, more than a side. What do you think here, Kevin, Sabres Flyers?
Yeah, I was kind of in between. Because I don't know if Buffalo, if they're going to be excited about how they played yesterday and kind of start to clamp down a little more. Philadelphia, like they're usually pretty competitive, and they can play some good defensive games here. So I was looking at the under 6.5 for plus 105. But the one for sure I'm going to play is actually a prop here. This is a guy we were riding on the over for a while. Was Owen Tippett. He suddenly just trailed off on the shots here. Like the last 3 games, he has 1 shot per game. His line hasn't moved. The price has moved, but his line is still 3.5, and he's not getting anywhere near it right now. His ice has dipped a little bit as well. Like last game, he's playing 17 minutes. Before that, 19 minutes. Where 10 games ago, he's regularly playing 20, 22 minutes a night. So it's dipped, 4 or 5 minutes a night right now. Not getting the same deployment, and he's completely trailed off. So that line I feel is way too high. You do have to pay for it. It's minus 182, but I just feel like it's way too high. He's not getting near it. So I'm going to play the under on Owen Tippett 3.5.
Yeah, you're right about that. There's no question. His shots on goal numbers have dwindled here in recent games, and definitely that I've noticed that as well. So we'll see if that continues in that kind of trajectory here moving forward. All right, next up here, and like I say, I haven't locked this in yet because I'm definitely waiting to see who's in net for Buffalo. I'd like to see Tage Thompson back too. He almost came back last night, but just wasn't ready. And Don Granato did not rule him out from returning tonight. So we'll see if he's in there for the Sabres. The Sabres are not good overall on a back-to-back 4-8 this year, but it's worth noting after a win the previous night, they're 4-2. They actually have a winning record, 4-2 on a back-to-back when they won the previous night. They're 0-6 when they lost the previous night. So, and obviously they're off a win last night. So maybe I do kind of want to lean Buffalo here, even on the back-to-back, but it is a tricky spot especially after the emotion of the win for Devin Levi in his debut last night. All right, Toronto, Ottawa. We've got the Leafs minus 155, road favorites, 6.5 being the total. This is a Sens draw split for me in this game. I just think it's close. It's competitive. It's never an easy game for the Toronto Maple Leafs when they play the Ottawa Senators. If you look back at recent head-to-head series history, it was 5-4 in a shootout for Toronto in Ottawa the last time these teams played. And Ottawa beat Toronto before that, 6-2 in Toronto back in January. October, it was 3-2, a one-goal victory for the Leafs. So both Toronto wins against Ottawa were one-goal games. I think we see a competitive game here once again. Ottawa and draw split is a pretty straightforward bet for me, especially because for Ottawa, kind of like what I said with Tampa Bay now with Toronto, they're almost at the point where they're home and cool in second place in the Atlantic. They're going to have home ice in that first round against Tampa. They can't go down. They can't go up in the standings. For Ottawa, every game is a must for them with their slim, and I mean slim playoff hopes because they didn't get any help from Pittsburgh or Florida the other night. Ottawa beat Philly. They did their part, but Pittsburgh won, Florida won, so they really didn't gain any ground on anybody. They just have to keep winning, and they're given the effort of a team that hasn't stopped believing they can make the playoffs. Ottawa's still playing hard nightly. And they always play Toronto tough. So it's worth a look here, I think. And plus Matt Murray in net likely for the Toronto Maple Leafs against his former team. And Matt Murray's been more cold than hot lately in net for the Leafs. So I think it's an opportunity here for the Sens to be competitive and maybe even steal it. I'll go the Ottawa draw route with both bets there. Lean over 6.5 as well, because for some reason we see a lot of high-scoring games when it's the Battle of Ontario. What do you think here, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm on the over as well, especially if Matt Murray's in there. He hasn't been able to keep it under 3-4 goals lately here in his last bunch of starts. I like Claude Giroux on the over 2.5. That's minus 106. 6 of his last 10 he's been over. But last time he played the Leafs, he had 8. So it's always a thing, like you mentioned. Ottawa's always competitive against the Leafs. It's a Battle of Ontario, so there's a little bit of extra kind of jump from the players with Ottawa. So even though Giroux is a little bit over even for expected to hit that, I like the little bit of bump that he is playing the Leafs. John Tavares, his line is at 3.5. I think that's too high for him right now. I'm taking the under. It's minus 162 to play it, but 7 of his last 10 he's been under, and the games he's been under, he's around like one shot a game, so not doing a ton. Austin Matthews, I have over 4.5. That's plus money, plus 105. 7 of his last 10 he's been over. 3 games ago he had 15 shots against Carolina. I don't know if that's a typo, but he's firing the puck again. And plus money for something he's doing consistently right now. I'm going to take that. So I got Matthews on the over 4.5 as well.
Matthews been a shooting machine. Hell, we had that freaking amazing 15-shot game, I remember, just recently. I've never seen something like that, ever. No. 15 shots in one game from one player. I mean, my God. He accounted for, I think, over a quarter of the Leafs shots that night, or almost a half, I should say, of the Leafs shots that night. Incredible. And look, I think he's realizing, too, you shoot the puck more when you start to see the puck go in, right? And he's starting to see the puck go in again. You get your confidence back, your timing back, and that makes you want to shoot the puck more. And I think we're seeing that as well from Toronto. The one concern I do have, and I got to admit, talk about it, even though I like Ottawa in the draw here, is their blue line is gutted right now. Hamannik's out, Chikrin's out, and of course Thomas Chabot now is out long-term as well. And Derek Brassard, key centerman, and they already didn't have Josh Norris, so they're depleted on the blue line, and they're a little bit depleted now at center. And I'm telling you what, if you're depleted at center ice and you're depleted on the blue line and the back end, it's not exactly 2 areas you want to be shorthanded, and dealing with injuries. So I am concerned about that a little bit tonight for Ottawa, but not enough to take me off the Ottawa draw stance for me in this game with both of those, especially given their history against Toronto. All right, next up, we've got Carolina and Montreal. The Hurricanes minus 260, road favorites, 6.5 being the total in this game. A lot of money's come in on Montreal, believe it or not, because Carolina opened minus 330 all the way down to minus 260. Antti Raanta, we have not seen him in a long time. He's been on the injury list for a long time. Anderson has been the goaltender along with Kochetkov for all these recent games, but we're going to see Antti Ranta for the first time in a very long time for the Hurricanes. And, you're talking about a goalie in his late 30s now that's been out for a while. Is he ready to just step back in seamlessly and play at a high level is the big question here for the Carolina Hurricanes in this game. We haven't seen him since March the 7th, almost a month ago. He did play against Montreal, and he gave up 2. That's the game he got injured. He gave up 2 goals, and he got hurt in that game. We'll see how he fares. His numbers this year aren't that bad, actually. 16-5, 2.32 goals against average, 907 save percentage. So we'll see if he's able to go. Svechnikov, of course, on IR. Teravainen day-to-day. Sam Montembeault will be in net tonight for the Canadians here in this game. Canadians, of course, coming off a loss against the Florida Panthers the other night. Give the Panthers credit. Back-to-back after a big win against Toronto. They did not look past Montreal. They came ready, and they had a 5-2 win in that game. We continue to see a lot of goals for the most part in Montreal games, and them struggle at the defensive end. Carolina, 3-2 loss to Detroit, their 3rd loss in a row after losing to Tampa and Boston before that. So all of a sudden, a mini little 3-game streak. But you got to think Carolina wants to show up here tonight in this one and play better. But I just don't want to lay this kind of big price with a goalie, too, that hasn't played in a while. I do think this is a spot for Carolina to bump the slump, but not at this price. I lean probably to a Carolina team total. If I were to bet Carolina, I'd prefer that. I'd prefer the team total route for sure, because I think they can get to 4 goals here against the Montreal Canadiens tonight. Over 3.5 is only -138. I think I will bet that, and I'll probably do another bet too on the over 6.5. I think Montreal games still continue to trend that way. I could see Carolina getting at least 4, but with Ranta maybe off a long time, maybe not overly sharp right away. Talking to a guy that is 33 years old now, it's had a bunch of injuries. I think Montreal could slide a couple of goals past him. I think Montreal usually, when they're at home especially, they're good to score a couple goals, at least in most games. I find their offense finds a way to make an impact when they play at home. So Carolina team total over 3.5 with a split bet with the over 6.5 as well for me in this one. What do you think here, Kevin? Hurricanes, Habs?
Yeah, this game kind of scared me a little bit. You got to expect Carolina bounces back here, but the price to play that on a money line is not anywhere worth it for me. Team totals, I like going for team totals, but they're just not playing their best hockey right now. So I'm kind of staying away from that for me. I'm just looking at one prop. I'm turning back the clock a little bit here. I got Brendan Gallagher over 2.5. With the bodies of the lineup right now for Montreal, like there's no one else to put on the ice right now.
Nope.
3 of his last 5, he's hit it. Like, I know it's a small sample size, but it's plus 140. So with that kind of juice, he's going to play minutes because there's no one else out there. So someone's got to shoot the puck. It's kind of that theory, but it's the price that I love. So I'm my one play of the game is Brendan Gallagher over 2.5 for plus 140.
All right. I'm on Mike Matheson over shots again. That's just been automatic for me. 5 of the last 6 games, he's gone over 2.5 shots on goal. We've talked about that a lot here on the show lately. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Definitely, I'm going to rock right back again with the Mike Matheson props. Even to get a point, I think is worth a look here in this game. What's been impressive, too, is all these guys that it seems Montreal calls up, they make an impact. It's really incredible. Look at Sean Farrell the other night. He ends up getting his first NHL goal in his first game. So it's been impressive to see the contributions they've been able to get, the Montreal Canadiens, from all their youngsters, considering all the injuries they've had. They're still decimated with all kinds of absences throughout the course of the season. And yet somehow, some way, here they are, basically keeping afloat and finding their young guys able to perform for them at a pretty high level. All right, next up, we've got Florida and Columbus. Florida here, a big road favorite here, about minus 260 in this game as road favorites. The total 6.5 in this one. We've got the Panthers back-to-back big-time wins for them. We were wanting to see, could this team man up, step up to the plate here with these games that matter so much, and we finally saw it from them with the back-to-back road wins against the Leafs and the Canadiens, all on the back of the guy that is once again for the 3rd straight game in net. I'm not convinced, Kevin, that Sergei Bobrovsky can't go tonight. because he's had enough time. He doesn't have an injury. He's got an illness. He's had enough time to recover now. I think this is Paul Maurice saying, look, we've got lightning in a bottle right now with Alex Lyon. He played amazing against Toronto. He's the reason we beat them. He played pretty well on a tough back-to-back spot against the Canadians the very next night. We're rocking with this guy. He's feeling it. He's confident. The players have rallied around Alex Lyon. We're going to keep rocking with him in net. And he's once again the starter tonight. Hutchinson once again for Columbus. Now, Hutchinson was better against Boston, much better. It was easily his best game that he's been with the Jackets against Boston. But I keep thinking Boston was flat. Boston was very lethargic in that game against Columbus. So I don't want to give Hutchinson too much. I want to see him do it again. I want to see him play decently again because he played decently, played good against Boston. Can he do it again, though? It's still a bad defense in front of him. I'm not so sure about that. This was I think Florida wins this game, but I'm also a little leery of Florida in this spot after the two big wins. It looks like such an easy layup for them. I worry that and sometimes Florida's got caught in these situations where they think they're going to beat someone easily, and this is the game they lose. It's happened to them before. Trust me on that. So I'm not ready to lay the big wood with them necessarily here in this game. The regulation's only minus 150 at Pinnacle, and that's the cheapest price. Some books have minus 185 with Florida in regulation. There's no way I'm betting that. The team total's 4.5. That's pretty high. I do like the over 6.5. Now it's juiced. It's minus 140 at Caesars, minus 145 at PointsBet. It is juicy, but I think it goes over the total. And I think Alex Lyon now, third straight start, a lot of pucks he's faced. The opposing team is going to have a little better idea of what to expect now. I think Columbus can score a little bit, and I certainly think Florida will get theirs against this Jackets team offensively tonight. So rather than anything money line or total or money line side, I'm going to go with the over here, 6.5. What do you think here, Kevin? Panthers, Blue Jackets.
Did you see that Alex Lyon goal, the first one against Montreal?
Yes,
by any chance?
Was not even his fault. It was just a complete fluky bounce that hit ricocheted off something and went by him.
Yeah,
I don't fault him for that. He was good after that.
Yeah, no, he was really good against Toronto. I watched that game too. Yeah, interesting if they stick with him, because I was kind of worried when they're playing the Leafs there without Bob, because Bob's been pretty steady the last few months here. Actually, my one prop here, Roslovic, looks like he just got pulled out of the lineup. I was going to play the over on him. He just got pulled out, so that's kind of gone. On my book, the over/under was 7, which was too rich for me. I might kind of hold out and do the Alex special and just kind of wait in game and see.
Some books have down. 7. Yeah, some books have 7. So if your book has 7 and you don't have access to a book that has the total of 6.5 for this at 6.5 for this game, yeah, you can wait for a live over 6.5 and then get it in game. Yep.
Yeah, so I definitely like the over, but that's too high for me. So I'm gonna wait and see if that drops, and then once it drops, kind of jump on it. I think is my play in game. One I'm very tempted by is Barkov. Since he came back from injury, he's had that Terminator hand and just been firing the puck on net. He's kind of gone dry here this last little bit. 4 of his last 5, he's been under, and like putting one shot on net per game here, like when he's under, like not doing much, and that's paying plus 150 in this game. The only thing that scares me is that they're playing Columbus and they give up a ton. So I'm going to hold off at this game, but if he stays under this game, then I'm going to be looking at it pretty hard the following game. So really with Roslovic now injured, I'm kind of just waiting on live and play the over once that line drops a little bit is my play for this game. I agree. Yeah. The team total, I wanted to jump on the team total too. I think it was 4.5 for Florida. It's too rich for me. So even with Hutchinson in that, that's just too high of a line to get to.
Yeah, I agree. A little bit too pricey, a little too rich for our blood. I agree with that. No question. In that. Yeah, a couple shots on goal. Verhaeghe stands out, although the last 2 he's gone under, but I could see Columbus gives up a ton of shots. I could see Verhaeghe going. Tkachuk's been shooting the puck a ton too. I mean, not exactly the greatest value on Tkachuk, but I think Tkachuk right now to score a goal and over 1.5 points, you keep betting that until proven otherwise. He's doing everything in his power to carry the Panthers into the playoffs. I got to give the guy credit. He gets on your nerves certainly when you're playing him, but he's playing great right now for the Florida Panthers and doing everything he can to try to help them make the playoffs at this point. All right, we'll do one more game with Kevin, and then he is going to jet in a couple of minutes because he's got to go to the Preds game against the Blues. We'll do one more with Kevin, then we'll get his thoughts on the rest of the card, rapid fire and best bets. New Jersey, Chicago. We've got New Jersey minus 340, road favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. This is an interesting game here when you look at it because you've got the Devils. Clearly, they should beat the Chicago team. Chicago looks horrible lately. There's no denying that. I mean, it's difficult to bet Chicago, but if you see Jimmy Murphy on Twitter, our good friend of the show, he tweeted out that Jonathan Taves is playing tonight for Chicago for the first time in ages. Does that give them a one-game emotional spark? I don't know. It's just, he's obviously been with this franchise from the beginning of his career. Does it give them some kind of impetus to really want to buckle down and play well and win tonight? And even if they do, does it matter? I mean, they've lost 7 in a row. They've not played well. They can't score. And either goalie that's in net, Mrazek Stalock is in net tonight. At least he gives them at least a little better chance to win. Mrazek was in the last game against St. Louis, and he was his usual bad self. But it'll be Stalock tonight. Hasn't been confirmed yet for New Jersey, the goaltender, but we assume Vanacek will get the start in this one. Maybe a first period on Chicago, potentially, at a big flyer price, at a plus price in the first period. I don't know if I can trust them for the full game, even with that Taves angle. That might be something I look at here, but otherwise it's not a game I'm going to do a whole lot with. What do you think here, Kevin? Devils, Blackhawks?
Yeah, I just have one prop. I have Jack Hughes over 3.5. Anytime his line drops to 3.5, I think that's a pretty good bet. 7 of the last 10, he's been over.
Yep, I agree
it
with
is
that.
minus 155. So maybe against a better team, I wouldn't play that price. But against the Blackhawks, a team that gives up a lot, and something he's been consistently hitting, that I feel pretty good about that, playing that price.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to sprinkle on Jonathan Taves, actually, probably a goal prop or point prop. Just, I think that would be cool. That would be cool after everything he's gone through. I mean, he has just had the latest problem. What's kept him out has been long COVID. That's what it is. Long COVID-19 symptoms, where he's been obviously run down, tired, fatigued, obviously under the headaches, bad, stomach virus issues, just all kinds of stuff associated with long COVID. And he's had all of it. So he's really been beaten up because of that thing. But it's good to see him back tonight, and we'll see what kind of – this is a good live betting game too. See what kind of spark it actually gives the Blackhawks early in the game before you end up betting it. Great stuff with Kevin Beach, who's with us on Saturdays. He's cutting his appearance with us a little short today. He's got to get to the Predators game in a few minutes. Before we let you go, Kevin, the rapid fire for the remaining 5 games that we haven't talked about yet. Dallas, Colorado, quickly. What do you like there?
I'm going Rantanen over 3.5. It's minus 125. He's hit it 8 of his last 10. His attempts in general are just up right now. He's put the puck on a lot. And this is going to be – I don't think they're going to rest their big guys here. This is playing for the division. So, expect a lot of ice time out of him. So I got Rantanen over 3.5.
All right, Minnesota, Vegas.
I like the under minus 113. I think both teams are going to be in playoff mode. Minnesota, this is how they're going to win in the playoffs is shut down hockey. They played very good hockey against the Colorado Avalanche last game. And I also like them on the money line minus 104. So I like the Wild here.
It feels like a Vegas spot, but man, I don't know if I can go against the way the Wild are playing right now. And I do agree with the probably is lower scoring. I was fortunate to cash the over 5.5 with Minnesota, Colorado the other night. Needed an empty net goal to get there. This probably does feel lower scoring. All right, Los Angeles, Seattle.
I have our boy Vince Dunn over 1.5 on shots. It's minus 150, so a bit of juice to play, but he's hit 8 of 10. He's been as consistent as ever. And then obviously can't forget about Victor Arvidsson. Good price on him today, minus 125 to hit that over 2.5. He's been 9 in the last 10. He's hit it. Yeah, that's a very good price for Arvidsson.
That is, I agree. I can't believe they dropped it to 2.5. Honestly, it's been 3.5 for that guy most of the time, and he's been one of my go-to with shots on goal overs. Anaheim, Edmonton.
Anaheim, Edmonton here.
You laying minus 580? Come on, you got to be laying minus 580 with Edmonton.
No, This is one I want to wait, make sure.
Not going to be a chalk eater, huh?
I want to make sure Skinner's in net, because that sure changes the complexion if Campbell's in net or Skinner's in net if I'm playing an over-ender. So right now I'm just kind of weighing that out. There's not really any prices I like on that game. That might be something I jump on a live bet if Anaheim can somehow get up early in the game. But other than that, that's one. Just yeah, I don't like any of those prices to play that.
This might be a sneaky bet Anaheim spot. They're off that huge win against LA just because if Campbell's in net. How do you justify Edmonton with Jack Campbell in net minus 580? I don't care who they're playing. I might have to.
I know if Campbell's in net, it's an instant over bet.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For me, for sure.
Yeah. Definitely. All right. And final game on this card, Kevin, San Jose, Arizona.
This is a big game, man. Big exciting one here.
Oh yeah. Huge game. Playing for exercise. Yeah. I like Arizona.
Yeah.
After they lost last night, I think they win tonight, but I'll get into that later.
Yeah, this one I maybe only go on the over 6.5. Both teams not really playing for much. Maybe a bit of cherry picking, trying to score some goals. Pad some stats here before the end of the season, but that's the only thing I'm thinking about. For me, that's kind of a throwaway game. Not one I have too much interest in. But if anything, I'd go on the over in that game.
I'll get into this more when we get into the Edmonton game, but suddenly Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is shooting the puck a ton. I like his overshots tonight for the Edmonton Oilers in that game. Kevin, great stuff. Before we let you go, best bet for this huge card. What do you like?
Yeah, give me Bo Horvat, no point. It's plus money, plus 108. He's had 3 points in his last 10, and as an Islander in general, 11 of 24. He's just not happening right now for him in the Islander uniform. I love that plus money. Something he's continually not picking up points game after game. So Bo Horvat, no point.
All right, there we go. Bo Horvat to not get a point for the New York Islanders against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Best bet for Kevin Beach for this Saturday card. Kevin, enjoy the Blues and the Predators. I hope it's a good game for you. Obviously, it's been. We'll let Alex come on and say hi to you before you head off.
It's great transition here.
Yeah, great transition. Can you hear? No, I can't hear you. But he's. I'm sure he says hello.
Yeah,
right
we were close to a quite swift transition there. So
there we go. I thought it was going to be a smooth
it.
transition, but not quite.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Alex? You got us?
You guys can hear me.
No, he can't. No. We were going to bring him on to do the transition. Oh shit. Oh well. Doesn't always work out the way you want it.
Kevin, you got to play shorthanded for a minute here then.
Yeah, exactly. Good stuff. How are you, Alex?
You guys hear me? I can finally hear you guys.
There you go. He's rolling.
Oh, yeah. Good. Yeah. Sorry about
this. This is good timing, my friend. Yeah, jumping on. Kevin's heading out to down to Bridgestone for the Blues and the Predators.
I was watching a little bit on my phone because that's the only thing that's charged. My laptop, my everything. Like I went to sleep last night and didn't realize that power had gone out. So when I woke up today, I had to reset clocks and everything. So just not getting everything set up. Yeah, we had 8 inches of snow on top of 2 inches of rain. So
on April 1st.
It's a mess up. Yeah. No April Fool in there. So.
Yeah, that's an April unfortunate reality. Kevin, thanks again. If you're around Tuesday night, join us for the Betcast for a little bit if you want to. But enjoy the game, Blues and Predators.
Hi guys, thanks for having me. Enjoy the day.
Yeah, enjoy the game.
All right. Good stuff, Kevin. Thanks. See ya.
Yeah. Cheers.
All right, there he is, Kevin Beach, joining us here as he does every Saturday. He's off to the Blues Predators game. Like I said, I wish they had a better opponent for him than St. Louis, but you can't pick and choose who they're going to play on a certain day. But Alex, I guess you're also not a fond of this card, from what I understand. It's a big card, but we went through the first half. I guess this is your opportunity. Is there? I won't even go through every game. Talk about whatever game up until New Jersey, Chicago that you want to talk about that you like.
Yeah, I would say I like way more in the night slate anyway, so it kind of worked out perfectly. I like Boston. I'm laying the 130. I'm taking the shot. Normally, we talk about it how usually this is a spot to fade team that's won the President's Trophy with a few games left over. There's nothing else they can do. But like I said, with the fact knowing that they could be playing the Penguins. And this is just always kind of a cantankerous battle between these two teams. They're not division rivals, but when they meet up against one another, it just kind of seems like there's just a bit of animosity. I guess, you look at how successful these two franchises have been over the last 15, 20 years. They've kind of always popped up in each other's way when making it far into the postseason, and that could be the case here again. I think Boston wants to make a stand here on national TV, ABC broadcast. I think they can come out early and get things rolling. In Pittsburgh, we talk about all the time, must win doesn't mean we'll win. Yes, they need points in every game, but I think Boston's just a better team, and I think they'll be able to kind of impose their will and play their game. And that's the thing that really scares me about, either you jump all in with Boston, or you stay completely away from it, because that's just a team that's not really right now, like I said, built to. They either show up early, and maybe I should probably just be playing this first period and going from there. But I think 130 is a cheap enough price where I think they do get an early lead, and we won't be able to get anything better than that. So I'm laying that price. And also in the second half, you mentioned New Jersey, Chicago. I would take a small shot, half unit at most on Chicago tonight at home, with Taves coming back in the lineup. It's New Jersey. Yes, they are still playing, trying to grab home ice in the first round and possibly a division title as well. I think this is the last game the Hawks even have a chance to win moving down the stretch. With Taves back in the lineup, home crowd. Interesting note that this game will be on ESPN2. First regular season game to be on ESPN2 since 2004. I thought that was really interesting that for some reason that network is not utilized far enough during the regular season. But I do think the Hawks can put together something here. And I think they can just catch maybe a disinterested Devils team early. And this should probably be, like I said, with Taves back in the lineup and at home, this will probably be one of the bigger crowds we've seen in quite some time. I just see this being kind of the last hurrah for the Hawks. Not necessarily Taves, of course. He's been kind of mum on whether he's going to retire at the end of the year. But I think people kind of realize, hey, this might be one of the last times we get to see Jonathan Taves in a Hawks uniform at 1901 West Madison. People might go out and watch this one. So those are the two things I like early. Bruins minus $1.30 and a small play on the Hawks. I got plus 285.
Yeah, I was mentioning Chicago at least in the first period, maybe the first 20 minutes, with having Taves back, because there is an emotional bent to it. He's obviously a guy that's been connected with the franchise for a very long time as the captain, and he's gone through a lot with that long COVID experience that he's had. And yeah, I could see them for one game showing up tonight. Now, if you're a Chicago fan, you're hoping it's just one game here with the Chicago Blackhawks showing up and playing hard, playing well, because you want that last place spot, which you're so close to getting right now in the standings. But definitely, I think when you look at this matchup here with that Devils team, it's not a great. Devils have had some big games this week. Islanders, Rangers. It screams flat spot playing lowly Chicago too. It's not a Devil spot maybe to play their best. So Chicago's got a chance to sneak up on them tonight.
And our friend Jamel H is in the chat, so I got to give out Islanders Lightning draw plus 325. I did have to draw that in the first half. So.
I don't know. Like I say, it's not just Jamel. It's anybody that's criticized the draw looks. Do you not like plus 400 winners? Did you not like cashing with Rangers Buffalo? I didn't have that. I forgot to bet it. Stupid me. But I did have Buffalo. I would have been pissed if the draw hit and Buffalo lost. No one. I was really liking Buffalo. I would have been mad. But I got it with Vancouver, Calgary later in the night. The draw there. I thought we were going to get Dallas, Arizona, but bad third period there from Arizona.
And that was the scary thing. I said it yesterday on that card. I like that draw based on the situational spots, but we knew that Dallas, if there was one team was going to run away with it, it would have been Dallas. There was no way I saw Arizona winning that game 4-2. It was either Dallas, as it ended up being 5-2, or that was a game that goes to OT, and Arizona probably ended up winning that in OT, honestly. But we'll talk about Arizona and those teams a little bit later.
Yeah. So if for those draw haters, it's draw season. That's what it is right now. You don't like two out of the 4 games last night hit the draw, and at plus 370 or better. I guess you don't like those big.
The stat at the beginning of the show.
Worth of winners, yeah.
Well, stat at the beginning of the show. So 24% of the games in the last 3 weeks have gone to overtime, and if you're betting at 325,
great stat from him.
If you're betting everything at 325, you've become profitable. And there has only been, as far as I know, and I've been watching this virtually every day throughout the entire season, I've only seen one draw price that was below 300. It was a plus like 290. And I think it was involving, I want to say it was Devils playing against maybe Nashville. It was when the Devils were in their run of like 5 or 6 games going to a draw, and they're playing a team that had 3 straight draws. That's the only thing I've seen less than plus 300 all season. We're talking about thousands of games. So even if you were betting every game, if you bet $5 at plus 300 or better, you would still be doing fairly well. So I don't understand it, but people are gonna hate it.
Yeah. What can we say? I just and it's like there's a good group. There's not a good group because I don't agree, but there's a solid number and group of, and there's a faction viewers and listeners of this show that despise how many times we're recommending the draw on this show. It's really crazy. It's amazing. But I guess, like I say, I guess the plus 400 ticket in your pocket doesn't matter to you at the end.
And
of
the
the
funniest
night,
thing is that all the vitriol is coming now when we've really been doing this for about 3 years, 4 years if you count postseasons, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly. You can't bet the draw in every game, Rick J. But you can definitely selective spots where it makes sense to, for sure. Like Detroit, Winnipeg, for example. I didn't love the draw on that, and I didn't love the draw. And there's one other too, a couple nights ago where clearly I didn't love the draw, and it didn't come close to.
And I'll tell you something else too. Then this kind of relates to, not to even get off course. This is actually kind of a betting theory and a maybe just a handicapping kind of thing. People. We talk about this all the time with square bettors, right? Like everybody loves betting overs because of the fact that they want to see action. It's not, they don't always quantify it with stats. We bet overs because we just see the trend of scoring in hockey over the last, 5 to 10 years. We're seeing the patterns, and we've seen the patterns shift this season. We've bet some unders. I know I've bet some unders. I haven't gotten lucky with them, but I have been looking at unders. So we're not looking at these things from an entertainment value. We're looking at these things for, the purpose of making money. So in saying that, yes, waiting for a game to go to overtime, there's nothing entertaining about that whatsoever. Okay, if it happens to be a good game that's back and forth, so be it. That's awesome. But that's not what we're anticipating. I couldn't give a fuck. They could be sitting on their hands and feet for 60 minutes. If I have the draw, I want the fucking draw to cash. I don't care what fun. If I want to watch a fun game, I'll watch my Hawks. Give up 5 goals. All right, and see some offense. But that's not what I'm looking for with a draw bet. So people have to kind of take that out of the equation too. I've heard people in the chat say that they're super anxious, watching a game being tied. It's like, you know what? Maybe don't just watch every second of it, because that's the thing. Even with an under, if I have a bet on an under game, chances are I'm not going to be watching it intently the whole time, because that's just going to drive me nuts. Like, that's just human nature. So watch another game, flip back and forth. I'd like to think at this point in the season that everybody who's betting is watching 3 or 4 games at once right now. So.
Especially on a Saturday like today, where there's just a ton of games. And by the way, this is just actually a small drop in the bucket compared to next Saturday, when all 16 teams are playing, or 16 games and all 32 teams, I should say, are playing in the NHL next Saturday. So crazy a Saturday coming up next week. But I was surprised, actually. I didn't realize until you just said it. I'm seeing it now. Yeah, ESPN2 tonight for Devils and Blackhawks. That's a very big surprise. So it's and I'm just looking at, we got, they obviously sent the A team to the Boston-Pittsburgh game with Sean McDonough, Ray Ferraro, Emily Kaplan are in Pittsburgh for the game on ABC. I like the crew, though, for the ESPN2 game. Mike Monaco is not bad. He's not a bad play-by-play guy, that young kid. And he's done a few games now for ESPN, Mike Monaco. He's done a nice job. He's working with Cassie on the Devils and Blackhawks game tonight. So,
and you already know this is going to be a ball dropped opportunity right here with ESPN2. This would have been a great 3 hours to go with the old graphics and do the old fire on ice thing that they used to do for the NHL games, but I highly doubt that'll happen.
No, probably not either. So, there you go. ESPN2, national TV for the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks could be 40 games below 500. They'll get on national TV somehow. It's just because that's the kind of market they are.
They're making up for the last 25 years, all the years in the 2000s when we couldn't get on TV. So,
yeah.
I mean, we shouldn't be on national TV. I feel I apologize on behalf of the team, but all the years when we actually had a good team, and you lived in the city, you couldn't even watch it. So you got to make up for that lost time, I guess. Yeah,
definitely. So, I think when you look at it, it is what it is. Plus, they make these matchups before the season. So a lot of times, later in the season, you wish, I'm sure ABC wished they didn't have that, St. Louis a couple weeks ago playing after they traded everybody. But, it is what it is. That was their schedule for that Saturday game that week. It is what it is.
What's funny, too, just one quick thing in reference to networks. I don't know if you noticed this, the NFL is trying to be able to flex Thursday night games. I'm wondering if we see that happen, will we start seeing in all leagues where you'll be able to flex some of these national games out? Because, they made the schedule. We're talking about, early September. They should be able – the NHL should definitely be able to swing that, where they can flex some of these games late in the season.
I think it's overdue for all of them to do it. Who wants to watch a crap-ass Thursday night football game like Colts and Broncos last year? And there was just so many examples of just horrendous games. And, unfortunately, we see that in the NHL too, with the schedule, just because of the fact, again, all these matchups are scheduled pre-season and things change. Teams are better than expected. Teams are worse than expected. And you'd like to be able to get your ass out of some of these late season games that look good before the season. Now they don't look so good. So I think it's going to become a thing with all the major sports as well. We're going to see more of this with the ability to flex out of a game that's maybe not as appealing. All right. What is appealing is products from GramCo, which we're going to get to in just a moment. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. We've still got 5 games to go on this card. Back to preview them right after we hear from GramCo.
Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by GramCo. Whether you or your team's game is on the field, screen, racetrack, court, or the ice, GramCo is for the game. Grown by farmers who spent years developing premium hemp genetics, GramCo provides customers with consistent quality Delta-8 THC products ready for any occasion. GramCo currently offers numerous Delta-8 products, including vape cartridges, disposable vapes, pre-rolls, gummies, wake and bake coffee, and more. GramCo offers an enjoyable, legal high delivered discreetly and directly to you. GramCo is also available at many American retailers as well. You can get the best Delta-8 cannabis products on the market shipped quickly and discreetly from GramCo. And if you visit www.thegramco.com, use promo code IceGuys, you will get 20% off of every order, and any order that's on the site over $50 will be shipped free with standard shipping. So live elevated with GramCo and check out their wonderful Delta-8 products today.
All right, we are back with a good game. Next up, Dallas and Colorado. We've got the Avs minus 165, home favorite, 6 the total in this game. If you like the draw, if you don't like the draw, close your ears here. Put your thumbs between your ears, because I like the draw here with the Stars and the Avs. I'm worried about, too, is I was actually rather perplexed that they gave Jake Ottinger the start last night. And normally I don't like the same goalie starting on back-to-back nights. That does concern me. But it's the right move. How do you put Matthew Murray in there against Colorado? You can't do that. If you started Ottinger last night, which Peter DeBoer did, you got to come back to him tonight against Colorado. And that's exactly what they're doing. And Jake Ottinger, I've heard him talk this season, Alex. He does not mind the workload. He says he's like Hellebuck. They've both been on record. Throw me in there on a back-to-back. I'm ready to go. I don't think it impacts me negatively. So it is going to be Jake Ottinger once again in net tonight for Dallas. It should be Georgiev for Colorado, likely goalie, as you would expect for them. Colorado, you look at the way they've played recently. They've had some big-time opportunities to step up here and haven't always done it. It's concerning that, after that Minnesota loss the other night, 4-2 to the Minnesota Wild, it's concerning to me, Alex, that the Avalanche are currently on a 1-6 slide in their last 7 games against a team that's in the playoffs right now. Okay, that's their record against playoff teams that are currently playoff bound. If the season ended today, Colorado's 1-6 in their last 7 games against those teams. So, a lot of the wins, unfortunately for Colorado, we know they're a team that's capable of winning the Cup and winning the West, I for sure. But a lot of their wins have been against the weaklings lately. Look at Chicago, Arizona twice, Anaheim, Detroit, Ottawa. Their last really good win was against Toronto back on March the 15th, and they needed a shootout to win that game 2-1. That's why I like the draw here. I think Colorado in regulation is going to be tough. Like, they have not won many games against the best teams lately, and the games they have won against the best teams, it's been overtime, or it's been a tight game. It's been, by the skin of their teeth to get the job done. So, and you look too for the Colorado Avalanche, still, without, Manson, of course, on the blue line, Lehkonen out up front. It's a team that just right now, they're still looking to get back to that second gear. It looked like they were getting to it about a month ago, but at the moment they haven't been. And I'll give Dallas some credit too. They're really revving things up. They've won 3 of their last 4. Granted, Chicago, you could even nitpick at their schedule. Their last 2 wins were Arizona and Chicago, but they beat Pittsburgh, they beat Calgary, they beat Seattle twice. They're still playing relatively solid hockey. What I like is that Jamie Benn's playing great right now. Pavelski playing great. Robertson, Hintz have all been outstanding for the Dallas Stars. Wyatt Johnston's been great as a rookie. I don't think they're going to be intimidated by playing in Denver. Minnesota wasn't. I mean, they were the better team, Alex, for the first 2 periods. And then in the third period, it was all Colorado. Minnesota was just trying to hang on, protect the lead. But that's why you got Philip Gustafson, a great goalie. And, Dallas has got that same blueprint. I think they're playing well enough where they've got confidence, and they've got Jake Ottinger in net, who is slowly but surely starting to slowly get his game back to a level that we think he's capable of for the Stars. So I actually lean to the dog as well, Dallas, but on a back-to-back, I might pump the brakes on that. I do like this draw, though. I really do. I think there's a very solid potential here. We see these teams go beyond regulation in this game. Keep in mind the Minnesota-Colorado game, which I also sprinkled on the draw there. It very nearly got to overtime. I mean, very close. In fact, not for some heroics from Gustafsson to keep that game 3-2 before Minnesota put it away in the empty net. That game very easily could have gone to overtime. So plus 360 is out there at FanDuel with the draw here for the Stars and the Avalanche. Definitely, I think, worth a look. What do you think here, Alex? Dallas, Colorado.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at this first period over. This is a great price. I'm seeing it as low as $1.28 at FanDuel. And if you have access to FanDuel, I would say that's a book to keep around, because I'm seeing some of the best first period numbers over the last few weeks coming out of FanDuel. BetOnline always has some good numbers too for those who can't get that and need something offshore. But I definitely noticed that. So, we've seen Dallas cashing in with these first period overs. And I think Colorado, like I said, they're struggling against quality teams. Like, as you mentioned, that 1-6 mark against teams that are currently positioned to be in the playoffs. And that's concerning. But you look at how Dallas really put it on with Colorado. I think this is going to be a back and forth battle, like you said. The draw scares me a little bit, because as much as we've made off of Dallas going into overtime lately, I seem like I've given a bunch of it back. A lot of their games have been able to finish out within 60 minutes. So I'm going to stay away from the draw here. I like this first period over. I would lay it all the way up to $1.35 at the 1.5. I think we see goals here early. And I think Colorado is definitely going to try and establish the tempo and possession early, knowing that this Dallas team can really ramp it up and take it to them like they did the last time they met.
All right, there you go. Liking that first period over, Alex, here with the Stars and the Avs. As far as the prop market goes, there's, again, all the players I mentioned for Dallas just a minute ago. Take your pick. I mean, all of them I think could have a chance to make an impact offensively. For Colorado, I would probably roll with the usual suspect. Rantanen over shots on goal. I know Kevin mentioned that shot on goal prop. I like it. I think over 3.5 shots for him is good. I think as far as the goal and point props, I would look at the usual characters. Comfer stepped up lately. Certainly, we know how good Rantanen and McKinnon are, but Nichushkin's picked up his game lately as well. So there's a prop you might be able to look at as well. Minnesota, Vegas. We've got Vegas minus 110. Actually, it's pretty much even money. Vegas slight home favorite in some spots, 6 the total. In this game, the Vegas Golden Knights off a loss to the San Jose Sharks the other night. San Jose always seems to play Vegas tough. They did so again. That's now 2 straight losses for the Vegas Golden Knights, and now they take on this surging Minnesota Wild team. Not going to be easy here for Vegas to bounce back. Vegas beat Minnesota 5-1, I remember, February the 9th. That was back when the Wild were playing just dreadful hockey. I remember that stretch, and we were all over Vegas in that game because Minnesota was in a horrible time at that point. But boy, they're not in a horrible time now. That was a huge win against Colorado. I know it's one win and playoffs still yet to be determined. Team that hasn't had playoff success, Minnesota, but that's still huge. To go to Denver and control that game for 2 periods, they were the better team for 2 periods. The third period, Colorado really came after them and did everything but tie it. But they deserved the 2 points. They were very good in that. You saw Dean Evason's reaction after the win. You could tell he was pumped for sure. He was high-fiving, fist-bumping his assistant coaches behind the bench after that. It was a huge win. I don't know. I'm a little concerned. They really, really reacted much stronger than you would expect after a regular season win for that. Can they ramp it up again here for another big effort against what I think is going to be a pretty pissed-off Vegas team? So that's the concern here. I don't really want to get in front of Minnesota right now. They're playing well. I think I'd lean Wild. Maybe I don't love the game overall, but I'll do a little sprinkle here. Wild and draw. A little on both here. Wild and draw in this game. Alex, what do you think here? Wild, Golden Knight.
Draw, of course, makes sense because it's a Wild game, but I don't know about taking the Wild here. I think, like I said, off of that, that's a humongous win for the Wild against Colorado. Yep. That's big, and I. Like I said, I watch the Wild a lot, follow them closely, being here, literally in the middle of Wild country. But when they win big games like that, and they don't do it too often, that next game, it's just hard to back them to string it together. Yeah. And they've struggled with Vegas over the years. Fleury going back to T-Mobile. I just think this is a spot for Vegas to get the win here. It's going to be close, and definitely wouldn't look at anything regulation. Like I said, draw sprinkle will be worth something if anything. But I took Vegas minus $1.10. I actually grabbed this last night at minus $1.10. Still like at $1.15 or up to $1.20. I trust it's going to be a close game, but I think Vegas can break away late and win this one. Like I said, that's such a big win for Minnesota, and to have that kind of a win against a division rival. You're in first place, and now where do you head right after Vegas? I just maybe there's a little bit of a flat spot.
That's true. A little partying after that. I'm sure they left Colorado right away to go to Vegas and feeling great after that huge win to get to separate themselves further to go up 3 on Colorado for first in the Central. Yeah, that's
and of course partying. This is the first time they played since me meeting the dads, and of course Vegas getting the win here in St. Paul. So like I said, I think Vegas can kind of rally and double back on that. I like the Golden Knights to get the win.
Situationally, there is an edge Golden Knights here. I mean, it's hard to ignore it. And look, the price is actually cheap. You don't often get Vegas even money on their home ice at T-Mobile. Now, granted, they haven't been as good at T-Mobile this year as they've been in years past, but it's getting better. 22-16 at home. They do have more road wins, but they're at least playing a little bit better the last month or so at home than they did early in the season. So yeah, it definitely feels situationally like it screams Vegas after a huge win for Minnesota to ramp it up again. And then being in Vegas where you're, already happy and in ecstasy after beating Colorado. Maybe you got into a little fun and games as well in Vegas. So interesting. I'm fascinated. It's a great game in the late night hours. Looking forward to it. This game too is pretty good. We got a couple really good late games. This is another one. LA and Seattle. We've got the Kraken minus 115, slight home favorite, 6 the total in this game. I don't want to make it look like I'm chasing LA, but I'm on LA here. I mean, with all due respect to Seattle, they've had a great season, and they look like they're going to get into the playoffs. Now, they have work to do, but they're solidly in the number 1 wild card ahead of Winnipeg. They'd have to collapse down the stretch to not make it. But what I don't like about Seattle, Alex, is it's been a while since they put 2 straight wins together. This has not been a team that's been good off a win lately. They win one, they lose one. They win one, they lose one. That's been their pattern lately. And look, the wins are Nashville, who are mediocre, Anaheim, Dallas in overtime, which was a pretty good win, then San Jose, and they needed overtime to beat them. So, I still worry about Seattle's ability to step up in class, and I think you're getting the Kings tonight. Kind of, hey, let's end this little skid that we've had here. The last 2 games, losing to Calgary and Edmonton, tough losses. Stuart Skinner had the game of his life, I thought, the other night against LA. That was the best I've ever seen out of him. He was sensational. It's not like the Kings played like shit. They just couldn't put the puck in the net. In that 2-0. And it's not like Korpisalo played bad. He was really good as well. He only gave up 2 goals. It's just that Skinner just a little bit better. And LA couldn't find the back of the net. So they played well in defeat there. I don't think they played that badly in defeat against Calgary either. It was one of those games Markstrom showed up. So all of a sudden the offense has kind of run dry here a little bit for the LA Kings the last couple of games. We'll see who's in net for the Seattle Kraken. It is worth noting they gave Martin Jones the start last time out. So do they go back to Martin Jones tonight, or do we see Philip Grubauer back in net for the Kraken? It isn't confirmed yet. I expect Korpisalo for LA. Hasn't been confirmed, but sites haven't projected to be the goalie. I think this is becoming clear now that Korpisalo started multiple games in a row. I think it's becoming crystal clear. He's starting game 1 in the playoffs a couple weeks from now, and I think it's the right call. With all due respect to the great work put in by Phoenix Copley, he hasn't been nearly as sharp the last few weeks. He's had a couple of rough games, and I think they see Korpisalo with the better longer-term upside. And it's the right call, I think, by Todd McClellan. So I think it'll be Korpisalo, and I definitely think it'll be tonight, and I think it'll definitely be Korpisalo when the playoffs start in a couple weeks. So I like LA here, minus 105. Alex, Kings Kraken.
I landed on the draw in this game, and it's not because I really love it. It's because I'm really torn between these 2 sides. Like you said, I can make a case for both. It's hard. Like I said, Seattle, they have not been able to string together wins, and they've been a team that I've actually kind of struggled with for the most part this year. I've, caught them lightning in the bottle with them early, but they've kind of floundered at times. And with LA, team I've definitely made a bunch of money with over the last couple of years. And you mentioned with Korpisalo, I think he will get to the win here tonight. I think that certainly will solidify him starting game 1 in the playoffs. And I do think that's the better option. I mean, Phoenix Copley, he shouldn't hang his head low. Like you said, he played his ass off. He's the reason why they're even in a playoff spot right now, or the potential to even make the playoffs. He carried them this far. there's no shame in him being the backup. And of course, he got another $1.5 million for next year because of those solid efforts. So, good job by him and Korpisalo. I mentioned it, the new lease on life that he has. It's fun watching him play because now we get to see what kind of talent he is in front of a much better team. It's not, he's not Linus Olmark, obviously leaving Buffalo, but it's just good to see a guy that, we were kind of wondering, is he just the middle of the road goalie, just the average, guy who's going to be casted off in a few years? No, he actually might have some a higher ceiling than we thought now that he's with a better team. So I could definitely see this one being a back and forth battle. I like the draw here plus 330. Like I said, that's kind of the high water mark, but anything. And we'll start getting that more when we get in the playoffs. There will be some prices that I'm not looking for with the draw because we're going to see it. I think now the fact that we've seen it cash in so often lately, we're not going to get those plus 350s, plus 400s come playoff time. We're probably going to be stuck in, they're going to be moving this thing between 300 and 330, 335. So we'll talk more about that in the next couple of weeks. But for this one, plus 330 is worth taking a shot with. Both teams need points. Kings, like I said, definitely don't want to lose 3 in a row and 3 division games in a row, no less. So it should be a fun one to watch. It's probably the best game to watch in the late hour.
Seattle's been a good overtime team lately. 4 of the last 10 for Seattle have gone. This might be a good, I might even sprinkle on that draw. Talk me into it because I also look at the series history. Last 2 meetings have been to overtime or shootout for the Kings versus the Kraken. And the last time they met, which was one of those overtime games, we know which one it was, November 29th. We were on a bet cast that night, 9-8, that crazy game where they bet that thing under 6, under 5.5, and that over never had a chance. 9-8 it ended for the Seattle Kraken in that game. Seattle's actually won all 3 meetings this year against LA. So if you believe in series history, that's maybe you like Seattle here, but I think LA is going to get them tonight. I think after 2 losses in Alberta, you get the best from the Kings tonight. And I still think if you measure these 2 teams head to side by side, I like the LA team better. All right, Anaheim, Edmonton. We've got the Oilers minus 500 home favorites, 7 being the total in this game. I think this is a Jack Campbell start tonight. And it will be because he's been moved from projected to likely in a couple of sites, including left wing lock. So it's looking like Jack Campbell. Wow. This total obviously stands out that I do like the over, but 7, I'm still going to try at least to get a 6.5 live. I still am not rushing to bet at over 7. But what I am now going to be looking at here in this game, even with the Ducks are not exactly showing you a whole lot right now. That's the one concern. This has been a pretty rough stretch of hockey, pretty brutal stretch for the Anaheim Ducks. Their offense has been lifeless in a lot of these games. 3 goals against St. Louis is the most they've scored in a game in their last 6. The others, 1 against Vancouver, 1 against Calgary, 2 goals against Winnipeg, 1 goal against Colorado, 1 goal against Seattle in their last game. Like, they are just not scoring right now, and they've got a couple of key injuries. Zegras is day-to-day, and Troy Terry's out. That's arguably 2 of their best forwards and 2 of their best scorers right there. So you look at it, and I do worry about where the goals are going to come from for this team on this 6-game losing streak. But then you see Jack Campbell in net, and you see the team total of Anaheim plus 112. All right, it's plus price on over 2.5 for Anaheim's team total. I got to bet that. I have to. I just have to with Jack Campbell in net, with a potential dead spot for Edmonton, which this most assuredly is, after wins against Vegas and LA, 2 teams you might play in the playoffs. Now you play Anaheim, and then you go to LA to play the Kings again on Tuesday night if you're the Oilers. This is the ultimate sandwich spot, and I'm not a big sandwich spot guy, but my goodness, you got lowly Anaheim at home after games against Vegas and LA, and then, you play LA again Tuesday night in LA. So this is not an Oilers spot. Minus 500. I get it. Anaheim's horrible at the moment. Edmonton's rolling, but this is I think you're taking some massive risks here with the Edmonton Oilers if you're going to lay this a crazy price on them. Minus 500 in a dubious spot, and of course with Jack Campbell in net. By the way, it's 2-0 Predators jumping on the Blues early in that game. So, and again, the Predators still very much alive in the playoff chase, still just a few points behind Winnipeg. And obviously with both Winnipeg and Calgary winning last night, it becomes imperative for Nashville to try to keep pace. But getting back to Anaheim and Edmonton here, I like that Ducks team total. Over 2.5 plus 112. Just get to 3 goals against a goalie that usually gives up 3 goals. I think it can be done, and I'll look for a live over as well. What do you think here, Alex? Ducks, Oilers?
Yeah, if I had to bet something, that would be the best thing to look at would be Ducks team total. But that's the thing, I don't have to bet it, and I'm not betting anything on this one. I mean, like I said, there's no way Oilers should win this game 8-0. And they probably won't. This will probably be, like I said, they always make shit difficult on themselves, especially against division teams. So this will probably be one they squeak out 4-3 in overtime. But yeah, I'm not gonna bet this. It's a pass.
Yeah, I think the Blues. I think, you know what, I was just thinking that because I did put a couple bucks on this over here, 6 with the Blues and the Predators. I think we can bet the Blues overs the rest of the season. Their defense is just, you saw it the other night. That was a track meet with Vancouver the other night. I mean, they're just, and it's over every game now with the Blues. The Blackhawks Blues game the other night too. Yep.
Yeah. And it seems like I said, it's not set in stone yet, but Hofer pushing Bennington, and I don't, we haven't seen Bennington. Think about when Bennington and Allen were going back and forth, right? Whenever Allen gets to start, Bennington would come back and he'd bounce back and he'd have, a game with 25 saves, only giving up 2 goals. We aren't seeing that pushback from Bennington now. I think he kind of realizes writing maybe on the wall. He may be out of St. Louis, I think, by the beginning of next season. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. It wouldn't shock me too, because we've heard Craig Berube audibly to the media this year talking about how he's getting frustrated with his antics as well during games, saying, "Would just stop the puck." Remember that epic rant, "Stop the puck," he said. Yeah,
yeah. He needs to change the scenery, and they're getting tired of him. I think he's getting tired of being there, and he just I think that'll revive his career, because if he sticks around through the majority of the contract that he has signed, he'll be out of the league in about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. That would absolutely not surprise me one bit. All right, final game. This is not a glamorous game playing for exercise. 2 teams in the sweepstakes for Connor Bedard. Not so much Arizona. They've really hurt their chances. San Jose still is, but even they're starting to win a bit too much lately. I'm worried about my San Jose bet, goddammit, from before the season to have the worst record in the NHL. I bet San Jose and Philadelphia. I bet too, which is not going to win, obviously. But I bet San Jose in the West, and I don't like that they're winning. I mean, I think I'm probably not going to win that bet anymore. San Jose to have the worst record in the NHL this season with the way they're going. But San Jose's in Arizona tonight to take on the Coyotes. Sharks are -115, road favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. It is back-to-back for Arizona. They hosted Dallas last night, lost 5-2. It is a bit of a rest advantage for the Sharks, who played on Thursday night with the 4-3 win against Vegas. 2 straight wins for San Jose at home. But now they go on the road, and the road's been a problem for the San Jose Sharks. The road performances lately have not been good going into this game here tonight. 16-41 they are long-term in their last 57 road games. And now they go on the road tonight against Arizona. So even though Arizona's back-to-back, it's not like they had any travel. They're at home again. We'll see who's in net tonight for the Arizona Coyotes in this game off the back-to-back. But we're assuming, actually, it's already confirmed, it's Prosvetov in net for the Arizona Coyotes here tonight in goal for them. And if you actually look at the way he's played here for the Coyotes in minimal duty, he's been solid. He's had 3 starts in the month of March, 5 goals and 3 starts combined. 2 goals, 2 or less in all 3 starts. He's actually played pretty well. Prosvetov here for the Coyotes in limited starts. So, yeah, Matthew Bingham's reading my mail. Arizona draw split, same as last night, with hopefully better results tonight in this game. That's what I like here. Arizona -105, and as well the draw, because, look, San Jose is still playing hard. I mean, you got to give them credit. They beat Winnipeg and Vegas, 2 potentially playoff-bound teams. In the last couple of games at home. So it's not like they're rolling over here playing dead. The effort's been there. The goaltending, particularly from James Reimer, has been pretty solid lately. Not so much Kokkinen's been terrible, but Reimer has been quite solid for them. And I'm assuming we're going to get James Reimer here tonight. Although I'm seeing sites projecting Kokkinen, multiple sites projecting Kaapo Kokkinен. So that's good for Arizona for sure. If he's going to be in net. But I do like the draw a little bit as well. The draw, again, at FanDuel. Alex, I'm telling you, FanDuel's got the best prices for the draw. I haven't been paying attention to this until recently, but I'm noticing they're even better than Pinnacle lately with these draw prices for me. I always thought Pinnacle was the best that you could get as far as these prices on the draw, and that you couldn't find better than at Pinnacle with the draw. But the draw at Pinnacle for this game is +340. It's +370. Right now at FanDuel. So I love that draw price +370, Arizona -105. And if it's Kokkonen, I like the over, but I'm going to wait on the over until I get Kokkonen confirmation for the San Jose Sharks. And Arizona's kind of been trending over lately a little bit as well. So I do like the over, but only if we get double K, Kaapo Kokkonen in net for the Sharks. Alex, what do you think here? Final game, San Jose, Arizona.
Yeah, I love Arizona here in this spot, and shop around because I've seen this now flip to plus money in some places. So that's why I'm kind of curious to see what the goaltending situation will be for San Jose, because I thought for sure it would be Reimer based on seeing that movement. I got $1.05. I laid $1.05, but now I'm seeing plus 100 plus $1.05, and I thought that for sure that would mean Reimer. So if it's Kokkonen and you're getting plus money with Arizona, that's by all means take the Yotes here in this one. And quick question too, Ian. You said you had San Jose worst record. That's by percentage points or by wins, fewest wins.
That's it's points. It is points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because San Jose does only have 21 wins. They have the fewest wins in the league. So if you have, some people do have win totals as opposed to point totals. So if you do have a win total under with San Jose, you should be in good shape. But worst record, I think they might fall out of favor with that for sure. But like I said, there's still some games left, and they keep playing. Like I said, they've won 2 in a row now to try to win a third and go on the road in a tough Mullet Arena environment. I just don't see it happening here. So give me the Yotes. I'll take them on the money line.
All right, like in Arizona. I'm on Arizona and a little less on the draw at plus 370. And again, I'll add the over if it's Kokkonen in net for the San Jose Sharks. And obviously, if it's Kokkonen in net, I become a lot more interested in the usual suspects for Arizona: Keller, Hayton, Krause, Michelli, all those guys we've talked about repeatedly for the Arizona Coyotes being good prop looks here in this game tonight. All right, there you go. That is the Saturday slate inside of 90 minutes, which is pretty impressive for 13 games on the card. Shout out to everyone in the chat on YouTube. Hit the like button. We appreciate it. And to our podcast listeners, thank you for tuning in as well. Check out patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 a month. Goalie charts, totals charts, power ratings, daily Ice Guys show betting card. Bonus content, patreon.com/Ice Guys. The playoff box giveaway presented by GramCo. Make sure you fill out the form. Form is in the YouTube video description below this video. Fill out that form because you got a week left to do it. And we're going to have multiple winners for that playoff box giveaway contest. And we'll announce them a week from today, the final Saturday show of the regular season, next Saturday, April 8th.
Yes, definitely sign up right now. You have until next Friday, the 7th at midnight. That's when we'll pull down the form. The link is, like I said, posted in our description on the YouTube. It's posted at our Twitter page, pinned on top at _Ice Guys. You can DM me as well if you need me to send you the link directly. Also, check out the Ice Guys store. 2 days left of 20% off everything in the store. I had a couple people text me and a couple people DM me some of the merch that they got. We love seeing that. So feel free to tag either one of us or the _Ice Guys for any of your merch once it arrives. Check that out right now. 20% off everything for today and tomorrow over at iceguys.myspreadshop.com. That's iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
There we go. Good stuff indeed. All right. Good stuff hopefully coming up. We got best bets to wrap up the show right after we hear from Manscaped. Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the promo code ICEGUYS. That's promo code ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, it's about 14 million balls that you can preserve. The Performance Package 4.0 is the complete accessory package to take care of everything that is required. You've got, of course, the Lawnmower 4.0. Takes care of your facial hair and among other things. You've got, of course, the Weed Whacker. I'm approaching 40. Nose hair has become a major issue. It pisses the hell out of me. I need to take care of that shit, and the Weed Whacker can help you do that. Both of these products, waterproof and a 4000K LED spotlight for a more precise shave. And you'll also be able to take care of those delicate areas with the ball toner, with the ball deodorant, keep you smelling good, looking good, and feeling good down in the nether regions. This complete Performance Package 4.0 will take care of everything for you, for all you guys out there. And it's courtesy of our good friends at manscaped.com. So get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code IceGuys at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use promo code IceGuys. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right, and it is time for Best Bets to wrap it up, a huge Saturday edition. Make sure you don't miss the show tomorrow on Sunday at noon Eastern, because we've got a big Sunday card. This is much bigger than normal. We're talking 8 games on the Sunday slate tomorrow. Sorry, 9 games tomorrow for a Sunday, which is very rare, but it's great for hockey fans and hockey bettors. You got first game at 1 o'clock, Rangers and Capitals. You got Bruins and Blues. I believe both of those games are national television games as well. I know Rangers Washington is TNT, and I think Boston St. Louis is as well. They're both TNT tomorrow afternoon. Yep, TNT Sunday afternoon doubleheader. You got those two, and then you've got 7 games at night starting at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. And a lot of teams needing wins in the playoff race. Ottawa's playing tomorrow. Pittsburgh's playing tomorrow. New Jersey and Winnipeg. How big is that game, especially for the Jets? Calgary's in action tomorrow. So it's a great Sunday card. So make sure you join us tomorrow on the Sunday edition. All right, Alex, best bet. What do you like?
Yeah, we're going to go out to the desert, Mullet Arena. We're going to go with the Arizona Coyotes. Like I said, shop around. You should be able to get this at plus money now. So we're going to grade this at even money, plus 100 against San Jose. Like I said, this is a Sharks team that they finally got some wins under their belt, but this is a team that basically lost 16 of the last 20 games. Playing against Arizona team that's had a winning record at home. Only got a few home games left, so you know they're going to want to try and win and play with some pride in front of the few thousand fans that are there at Mullet Arena. Let's go with the Arizona Coyotes at even money or better. That's my best bet for this big Saturday.
All right, there you go. Arizona Coyotes. I got to give a little there you go. A little Arizona Coyotes there. Minus 105, plus 100 in some spots now against San Jose there for a best bet. My best bet, I'm going to do with it. I'm going to go back to the well with a team that I actually dropped a best bet with on this show Thursday night, that being the LA Kings, who got skinnered, I guess you could say, on Thursday night by a terrific performance in net by Stuart Skinner of the Oilers. I just think they're still better than Seattle, and getting even money with them off 2 straight losses is a great situational bet and a great price. So Los Angeles plus 100 against Seattle for my best bet here for this Saturday card. That'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. We appreciate it very much. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex P. Smith, for Kevin Beach, who was with us earlier as well, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy the games and good luck, and we will talk to you again tomorrow on Sunday for another edition of the Ice Guys presented by National Hockey Now.